Today's Odac Championship broadcast is brought to you by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance. Keep Virginia, Virginia. Talk to your local insurance agent today. Chantel, the official telecommunications provider of the Odac. And Field Turf, the official field of the Odac.
On Friday night, the Washington and Lee Generals hosting Roanoke College, down by 1-0 heading to the fourth. And then some late game heroics allowed them to tie it up with just under 11 minutes to go. And then off a corner, the game sealer from long distance, putting Washington and Lee in today's championship game. On the other side of our matchup today, we've got the University of Lynchburg Hornets, also with some heroics of their own. Down 4-2 in the fourth quarter. Emily Dudley, a seeing eye shot that finds its way to the back of the net. And then this beauty to tie it up before we went to overtime. Check out the deflection, ice hockey style, from Dudley. And eventually Lynchburg winning it 5-4 in overtime over Shenandoah. And those are your two teams today in the Field Hockey Odac Championship. Looking for some more hardware for both of these programs. If it is Lynchburg, they will be there at the Victory Bell Tower. We will be there too on LHSN as we welcome you live to Schellenberger Field on the campus of University of Lynchburg. And we are ready for another great matchup featuring the Generals and the Hornets. Hello, friends and fans. Welcome inside the booth here above Schellenberger Field. I'm Joe Hutzler. I am joined by phone/Zoom, however you want to call it, from Richmond, Virginia. Daniel Rowe is here. His wife did a great job on Friday night. She could not be here as she's also in the field hockey world trying to win some games today as a coach. But D-Rowe will fill in, do just all right. Danny, we were here with you for a exciting nighttime game for men's lacrosse a couple weeks ago. This one is a daytime game. It's on a Sunday. Some people are still waking up from Saturday, but it's a championship game, and you've been in these moments before. What about aside from the obvious, what's so special about days like today?
Well, Joe, in days like today, you just want to get the chance to make your mark for your program in history books. And a lot of individual efforts are going to be needed throughout the day to be able to make those little plays happen, not only at the end of the game when it's crunch time, but throughout the beginning and into the middle of the game. All those important plays, winning 50-50 balls, getting the chance to earn a corner for yourself and for your team is going to be huge. So we're going to be looking at a lot of those stats as we go through the game tonight.
Well, speaking of stats, let's show you some season stats before we move on in our pregame program. And as you can see on the screen, these two teams side by side, numbers-wise, pretty even overall. Lynchburg does have the slight edge in most categories, but all that on your screen just tells us that we are in for a great one today at the University of Lynchburg. We're going to step aside, be right back, talk about coaches and players and the first hit.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Let's take a gander at our players to watch today. We begin with one lead and with one goal on Friday night to help the Generals come back and win. She leads the team with 11 goals this season and will be a force to be reckoned with offensively for the Generals of Washington and Lee. As for Lynchburg, we're talking about Emily Dudley. She was two Hornets that had 2 goals in the semifinal win on Friday night. 8 goals this season, right up there, close to Jackie Laro. She's a part of a really, really deep offensive side of play for Lynchburg, D-Rowe.
Yes, and also a senior, a lot of great leadership coming from her on the field. They're going to need that tonight and all that experience for them to have some success.
There you see Laurel Nix trotting into her spot between the cage for Lynchburg. Wearing 77, I did confirm that she actually, the team had lost the 42 jersey before their most recent road trip. So we haven't seen her until Friday night without the 42 jersey, but if you were watching on the road, you know that she has been wearing 77 for a while. The good news is that uniform is undefeated, so no bad mojo for number 77 and Laurel Nix, as we have begun in the 2021 Odac Field Hockey Championship. The Generals and the Hornets meeting for the 26th time since the year 2000. Lynchburg leads the series 19-6 in those previous 25, but the series is tied at 2 apiece in the Odac tournament. Most recently, Washington and Lee and Lynchburg getting together. Back in 2017, it was the Generals defeating Lynchburg at W&L. And then Lynchburg taking care of business the last 2 seasons as the 2018-19 Odac champs, and quickly the Generals have possession in their offensive third, trying to send one in. That is quickly brought back out by Alex Rebman.
Generals, Joe, also have yet to win here on Schellenberger Field, 0-13 away against the Hornets.
Look at you. I had that in my notes. So were you reading? Were you cheating off of me?
Joe, I always try to one-up you on the stats if I can.
Well, to be fair, the stats that I have come from Mark Robertson and his crew. So let's all just realize where the true credit goes, and that's sports information. The Generals with another rush to start this one, and it's sent back to Lynchburg on the whistle. We have the same officials that we did on Friday night on the field, and I can't see our third official right now in front of the donkey. May not have one, actually. It's just J.J. Nekoloff and John Waters down there. So we'll keep an eye on that. That third official was crucial on Friday night for Lynchburg as a Shenandoah Hornet left the box early, and he recognized it to let the rest of the field know that she needed to come back and serve the rest of her penalty. So far, all Generals when it comes to chances in the opening minutes. These teams meeting earlier this season with Lynchburg defeating the Generals 3-2 in overtime. That was a 2-0 game that Lynchburg was up in the first half. Then the Generals fought back to tie it at 2 in the second half. And D-Row, I know it's been a while. That was the third game of the season, but we certainly hope that that type of atmosphere, that type of excitement comes our way today.
I'm sure we'll see a similar game, Joe. The only loss for the Generals on the season. Big thing that I noticed from looking back on that game for the Generals, Tess Munisis wasn't quite an impact that she probably could have been as she was throughout the season. So we'll be looking for her to make her impact on this game today.
Munisis second on the team in points this season with 17. Had the game winner that you saw at the top of the broadcast, a long shot from a penalty corner that prevailed and pushed the Generals ahead to today after trailing to Roanoke for 3 quarters home on Friday. But as we all know in sports, it's generally about how you finish.
W&L giving up an very early goal in that matchup. Also gave up some early ones in their first game against Lynchburg this year.
This is Hayden Shockley. And then quickly sent back where it came from. That was Paige Mamarella, the freshman from Louisville, who gets this started. And then a pass that's too strong for the intended target of Grace Wise. Laurel Nix punts it away. And once again, we're looking to our left as the Generals try to establish really good ground on offense. They don't want to repeat what happened earlier this season and get down 2-0. They proved then they could come back, but you never know. It's a risk that you certainly don't want to take if you can help it. Mamarella again, block tackle put on by Chapese, and it works in favor of the home team. Lynchburg seeking their 21st Odac championship in field hockey, all 21 under the tutelage of Coach Enza Steele, who combined with her women's lacrosse victories has over 820 victories as a college head coach. Incredible. done in her time at then Lynchburg College and now University of Lynchburg.
Amazing to me. Coach Steele has been able to be at the top of her game for most of her career. Her team's again and again performing so well, and always a tough matchup for any opponent. Just speaks to the consistency of coaching that she has.
Lynchburg's first really good opportunity on this half of the field goes awry on a deflection wide. There's Coach Gina Wills, 6th season with Washington and Lee, 2017 Odac champion, one of the 2 Odac championships for this program. Came from a college that is well known for its field hockey, Center College, down in Kentucky. Lynchburg was there in 2019 as part of their Elite 8 run in the NCAA tournament. Myself and Mark Robertson were there for both practice and the game, and practice was an adventure with all the ice that was still on from a winter storm the night before. As this one's played into a mole off the foot of Taylor Jones. There's Taylor Jones for this Lynchburg squad, getting some early playing time in the Odac championship. Good steal for Chapese. Hits one in, Dudley gets a piece, rebounds there, and it's wide. No chance for Laro, but Lynchburg will bring it back team.
Good opportunity there for the Hornets. Playing pretty well in the midfield, but that was one of their first more significant attacks here offensively.
Mammarella, long hit, and off the mark.
Joe, in a matchup like this where you have both teams that are solid offensively and solid defensively, I'm going to be looking at the midfield to really be a big factor in each team's success, carrying the ball from the defensive side to the offensive side, winning those 50-50 balls there near midfield to keep possession for your offense. I think it's going to be very important. Whatever midfield is going to play better is more than likely going to have the better outcome today.
Yeah, it's pretty neck and neck in that part of the field. That's a great point to be made for both teams, knowing what they've got on each end, and plays right here around the word Lynchburg are going to be crucial throughout the contest. Alexis Brown, one of those stellar midfielders with possession now. Back for Taylor Green and Alex Redman. Stolen away, lifted slightly, and it is Grace Wise getting it there. Redman with the steal, but doing it against the rules. So WNL, free hit. And then Jackie Laro pokes it away. She's 1 versus 3, but she showed the other night she's got the speed and the smarts to take on that deficit. And once again, did it there. Did not try to get around them with her speed, just got close to a defender, threw it off their foot, and allowed Lynchburg to have a free hit, but nothing coming from it.
A nice play there from the Generals defense. You know, even though Laro is 1-on-2, 1-on-3, we've seen her time and time again how dangerous she can be with the ball on her stick. And sometimes you just got to stop the progress, even if you're committing a foul, to allow the rest of your teammates to get back defensively behind the ball.
Played back to Redman. Inside the 16, but only for a moment. Down the near sideline, Grace Amaden, senior from New York. Great play for Wise. Green catches up, makes it tough. Backhander, and it is still outside the crease, and a whistle will blow to keep it with Lynchburg. How about that chance from Washington and Lee, but also how about Taylor Allen's ability to come back and make that a tough play for Wise.
Great defense there from Lynchburg at the last second saving that goal. I think I might have seen a defensive save.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sneaking in there. You got a better angle than I do, Joe, but it definitely looked like it. Someone got a stick on that one.
Well, I think our replay will probably show us for sure. We had some stellar replays on Friday night. Again, thanks in large part to this great LHSN crew. All students except for me and you, D-Row, on the broadcast today. As Lynchburg tries to counter with a good offensive chance of their own, but so far nothing sustained for them once they get inside their offensive third. So far, the Generals outshooting Lynchburg 2-1 with 4:10 remaining in the first quarter. Tension's high because of what you said, D-Row. Every play is more crucial than the last, knowing this is the final game of the season as Kessa Romero takes it upon herself, and that chance stopped by the stick of Catherine Berman.
And Romero's one of those players, Joe, you got to look out for. She doesn't always make a name for herself in terms of goals or assists, but she does a lot of little stuff there in the midfield and has a lot of speed there on the wing to be able to make plays happen for her team.
Great block tackle by Shockley, but then the rebound finds Wise. Brown chasing her down, and the whistle will keep it with the Generals. And there is Romero. She's wearing that number 22, which is kind of a legacy number. Coach Steele handpicks that number once the previous owner graduates. And the previous owner, most recently, Nikki Simpow, stellar all-conference Rookie of the Year in the Odac, as this one goes high over top. Simpow also getting some graduate awards, and she was known for her scoring. But to your point, Coach Steele seeing that Romero can provide other pieces to the puzzle for this Lynchburg offense, and more often than not, she's setting up her teammates. That one rolls through. No one touching it. And Lynchburg's going to make a change. We saw Taylor Jones starting. She was eventually subbed in by Brittany Clayball. And now Brooke Highland will give Maggie Chapese a breather with 2:20 to go in the first quarter. Right away, Highland gets involved. Freshman out of Glen Gardner, New Jersey, brings it to midfield. Throws it off the foot of Kaylee Fitzgerald. And Romero works her way around one, now two. Nice lift by a maiden, but just ran out of room. Either way, excellent skills. Alex Redman got some clear space to run with. Pushes one inside. Laro picks it up here. And the whistle will give it to the Generals. They'll gladly start the rush with 1:24 to go. Nobody really establishing themselves as a clear favorite so far, right?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it either. And again, Joe, I think it just goes back to both teams trying to get their feet, get used to a big game like this, a lot of nerves coming in. And then that play in the midfield, again, I just think is going to be so crucial as we go through this game.
Neither team's goalie tested yet either. All three of the General shots have been away from Nix. One did get past. We think that was a defensive save, as Lynchburg may have one last push before the end of the quarter.
Great takeaway there from Dudley, and right aggressive as soon as she got the ball back on her stick, trying to make a play happen, ended up getting a foul and allowing some teammates to come forward.
Clock running down. Romero has to move quickly, and it's through the middle. Clayball there, whiffs on the chance. And we'll have our first corner of the game in the process. It'll be Lynchburg's. They had 13 penalty corners on Friday night.
in a tight game that we're anticipating to have, and Joe, penalty corners can be a significant difference. Lynchburg held that advantage 7-2 in their first matchup. And we've seen time and time again how efficient Lynchburg can be with those corner opportunities.
Yeah, we'll start with Jackie Laro, not Emma Strauss, on the insert. It finds its way to Dudley. Rips one inside, looking for a deflection. Redmond's there, went off her foot, though, before she got a piece with the stick. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter. 15 minutes gone by, not too many good chances so far, but that doesn't mean we don't have a good game coming up through the rest of the way. We hope you stick around and be right back, because we will be right back with you. The second quarter next on LHSN.
If you want to know your customers, shop where they shop. Live where they live. And spend time with them as neighbors. With over 100 local offices, Virginia Farm Bureau agents are part of your community. If you want insurance from a company that knows you, get to know us.
Welcome back to about to be the start of the second half. We're working on some audio pieces with D-Row out there in Richmond, so just bear with us as we begin the second quarter. Still scoreless. The Generals and the Hornets looking for a championship in the Odac. D-Row, can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
Yes, there we go. Awesome. Whew, our first bit of adversity today as we check out some of the students checking out the game today. A lot of men's lacrosse players, other athletes supporting their fellow Hornet student athletes. Victorious day yesterday for a lot of our teams. And currently softball and baseball going on campus. So a busy day at Schellenberger Field and beyond at the University of Lynchburg. And we're just glad that you're tuning in to check this out. Here's a few of what few moments of what took place in the first quarter. That was the best chance by far. And I think you're right, D-Row. I think Alex Redmond swatted that one down once it got past Nix.
Got there just in time, heads up play.
And if that is statted the right way, Redmond can now be credited with her first DS of the season. Second quarter underway from Schellenberger Field. Nice give and go from Laro to Brown, now to Dudley. Here's Laro through the middle. It just got behind her, though. That thing was building steam quickly.
Quick, sharp passes there from Lynchburg gave him a good opportunity.
So far, nothing on the stat sheet to really stick out as a sore thumb for either team. Any adjustments that so it kind of, D-Row, in a way, feels like, well, business as usual. Let's just keep doing what we do best throughout the season. As we talk so much about, hey, what does that team do so well? We don't talk enough about what do you all do so well? Why don't you focus on yourself as opposed to putting as much focus on the opponent?
Yeah, that's a great point. And, you know, some of that depends on coaches and coaching styles as well.
Good chance for the Hornets. And a whistle will keep it with the Generals. Trying to give you some time to analyze, but Lynchburg just doesn't want any of that right now. Whistle stays in favor of Lynchburg. Coach Steele telling Kessa Romero, go at her. And there's a 5-yard penalty, if you will, foul. A maiden was not giving Romero enough space on that restart, so it goes to a penalty corner, Lynchburg second.
That's one thing to look for as an offensive player. You know, if you're getting a foul just outside of the circle, You want to try and restart real quick and go right back into that defender. Even if they're right there on top of you, oftentimes you'll get the call of playing within 5 yards.
Lara will insert. Last time it went to Dudley first. This time it slowly rolls to Brown. Quick pass near side from a mole. Blue. But as that ball was sailing for the corner, you just saw that black blocker of Amul reach out of the sky and knock that ball away. Nice work.
Terrific save, great hand-eye coordination to save that one, although it was probably a dangerous shot there. A lot of times on these corners, you got to keep those balls low to avoid that call.
Grace Wise is back in for the Generals as that backhander gets deflected off the Generals. And it will be Lynchburg starting from the blue line. Alexis Brown will have it straight away. Collects some defense, and then it just rolls across the end line for the Generals to take over. We talked about...
And good
Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say good defense there from the Generals. Their strategy there was just getting all their team back behind the ball, play good defense, and let the offense make the mistake.
As you know, when you play Washington and Lee in any sport, you tend to get the feeling that they're very, very smart. They're very diligent about the X's and O's and all the situations in front of them as they come. So no surprise there on that last sequence for the Generals, as Lynchburg is now taking a page from W&L's book, starting the second quarter the way the Generals started the first, with a lot of good passing, close passes inside their offensive third. Long hit from Shockley, rolls side, under wide, and it will be a defensive hit for the Generals, who, as D-Row mentioned, have not won at Schellenberger Field since those stats started in 2000, at least the ones that we found. But those two Odac championships we talked about came against Lynchburg and Untitled. So in that respect, today could be a good day for the visitors.
Could be, and definitely can't count them out. They're a great team.
Great team. It's one of those things where you feel like if they were in any other conference, they'd have a lot more than 2 championships. It's just Lynchburg and Coach Steele have had a hold on the top spot for so long, including a 9-in-a-row run back in 2006 through 2014. Makes it tough on the rest of the group. Brown, low shot, works its way through. Amul is there to kick it. It's restarted with Grace McDonald, sophomore out of Bluemont, Virginia. Now back in, whistle blows, and the Generals will take it from there.
I liked that offensive possession there for Lynchburg, sneaking in some of their forwards back when the midfield had the ball. Midfield did a good job getting the ball off their stick into the circle, try and give themselves a chance to get an advantage or make something happen.
Grace Maiden is back in for the Generals up there in the forward position, as Stella Noels does what she can to get it out of the defensive spot for W&L. Wise on that pass by Rebman. Grace Wise standing at 5'7", long strides inside circle to shoot on to Nix, who's there for Dave. Both in this second quarter, and both times they've come up large.
Fantastic keepers on both sides, very fundamental. Nix tend to be a little bit more aggressive than most keepers, but in a good way. Tobias in with a great opportunity, couldn't finish it. But Generals knocking on the door a little bit here offensively.
Just get the sense that it's going to take a perfect play in a even strength moment or an unfortunate mistake to break the stalemate here. And a good steal by Brown, pushing ahead to Laro. You've got Aaron Boatwright on the other side of the field, sprinting through the middle as Laro is in some pain after two sticks collided. Perhaps the opponent's stick came up and got her in the arm/hand a little bit harder than she can handle. And we'll take a look at it.
Looks like it almost got there in her hip.
Yeah, it's hard to, I don't know if we can back that up, but let's look at it one more time. You see the stick? Yeah, that's good. Let's go forward, slow it down. Yeah, interesting. She's holding her hip area, her side there, and being tended to by Randy Rimby and his athletic training staff at the moment, still favoring her left hip. So we certainly wish the best for Laro. Let's get you a game reset so far. Well, no goals to talk about, but recently we've had some pretty good saves to mention from both Sarah Amul and Laurel Nix. Overall, Lynchburg and W&L pretty tight in every statistical category. 6-4 in shots for the Generals. Right now, 4 of those 6 are on goal. 3 of the 4 for Lynchburg have been on target. 3 saves apiece for these keepers. Lynchburg does have 2 penalty corners, and Alex Redmond has a defensive save. As Jackie Laro is helped off the field by the AT staff, that could certainly be a blow for Lynchburg, but it does take us back to that thought we made at the top of the broadcast, how deep this Lynchburg offense is. Certainly not good to have Laro out, but you do have a nice group of ladies to go to in her place.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Lynchburg's fortunate to have a great roster. I'm sure that's a heartbreaking loss if she's not able to get back into the game. But they have 13 players that have scored on the year, Joe. So it's not like they're going to be lost for offense from Laro. So hopefully she'll be able to recover and get back in. But I didn't look very. It didn't seem like she was hit in that hip area. It makes you think that it might be muscle related, and that can be a little bit harder to come back from in the same game.
Yeah, and it's worth noting. I mean, these ladies on both sides, it's going to have to be something serious to them out. Championship game. We wish the Arrow. She's in great company to help her. In terms of who's on the field now for Sydney Metz, the Haddon Township, New Jersey, has stepped in to take Laro's position. Not specifically on the field. Dudley's moved up to that spot, but she is out there to create the full roster. As the Generals look at their first penalty corner of the afternoon, Stella Noels, a junior out of Cambridge, Massachusetts, will start things off. Inserts it back to Wise. Well high, bounces left side of the cage. Great chance for the Generals, but just off target. I believe that was Tobiasen. Election. A maiden will break up, and the whistle will keep it with Washington and Lee. Shockley with the block tackle. Six and a half to go. Generals just outside the shooting circle. Trying to break this stalemate, trying to take advantage of Lynchburg's change in personnel with Jackie Laro going down a moment ago. and still being tended to by the athletic training staff. Paige Mammarella checks back in for Coach Wills and the Generals, as they have now established some dominance in their offensive third. Lynchburg awaits a change of their own. Brittany Clayball standing in the substitution box as Sydney Metz has possession, but not for long. Good steal from Grace McDonald. Kessa Romero, good pass, connects with Chapese on the run, in stride. Chapese to the center. Her pass was not quite as accurate as she hoped for, as her and Dudley get involved on defense off the foot of Duds. And Abby Hamilton will restart for the Generals with about 5 minutes to go in the second quarter of this 2021 Odac Field Hockey Championship game. The Generals and the Hornets looking to finish their seasons on a high note. Again, there will be no NCAA tournament for fall sports, so this is the final game of the season that counts anyway. In fact, if you look at Lynchburg's schedule, they do have another game on their schedule, scheduled for the 20th of April against Sweetbriar College, a team they didn't get to play earlier this season. And there is no real danger in scheduling more games. You're allowed to a certain point deemed by the NCAA. So they are doing that, and we know some fall sports that have completed their seasons are still practicing as well, especially for those coming back in the fall. It's kind of more of like their traditional spring season now.
Yeah, a little bit different for all those fall teams, as they're playing a condensed, shorter version of a regular season here in the spring, and then having to bounce back quickly with summer training and then right into a full season in the fall. Going to be a little bit of an adjustment. I'm sure these players will take a little time to rest after season's over, but they'll be gearing right back up for next year pretty quickly.
Romero, backhander, inside to Clayball, across the middle, and deflected out. We're going to get a stoppage of the clock as that deflection went off a Generals player's face. It went off of Noel's. And the trainers will go out to check on the junior from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Coach Wills comes out as well. Certainly not intentional. It was a deflection on that shot attempt, that pass attempt. Watch it again, top of your screen. Clayball went through, and then it was kicked out by Amul. Right to the eye socket of Noel's, as Randy Rimby is busier than he had hoped to be today. But more importantly, Noel's is okay at this moment in time.
Good to see her up on her feet, but I'm sure that did not feel good. That field hockey ball, for those who don't know, is rock solid.
Yeah, I had to learn the hard way on that one. A lot of people warned me, hey, don't stop the ball with your foot if you're on the sidelines. Just let it go. I didn't listen, and I had a sore foot. So it's pretty.
Joe, funny story, I made that mistake my freshman year. I was covering the sidelines as a ball boy for one of my first field hockey games I'd ever seen. And that it was exactly what happened. Stop the ball, and never again have I made that mistake.
Sometimes we got to learn the hard way. Sometimes some pain will sink it into our brains. In the meantime, back to the action. You did see Emma Guttrell, a freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina, trot onto the field. She is replacing Noel's, as Lynchburg has their third penalty corner of the half. And it's going to be Emma Strauss starting with the insert, as Jackie Laro continues to recover from her would-be injury. Taylor Green, long shot, stopped on that right foot from Amul, dead in its tracks. And then the Generals wisely bringing it out. Losing possession, though, was Kaylee Fitzgerald. So Green will try it again, looking for a deflection off a foot perhaps. It goes across the end line, and it'll start back at the 16 for the Hornets. We can report that Jackie Laro is off the table. She is walking under her own power now on the track as Dudley has a great chance. Rebound, goal! Brittany Clayball continues her great run in the Odac tournament. That is 3 goals for her, 2 on Friday night. The first one then and the first one today.
Great play there from Clayball, just being at the right place at the right time. She got a goal pretty similar to this one yesterday, ball getting knocked around. And sometimes you got to let your teammates do the hard work and you just do the easy part and finish it after the goalie's out of the net. Great chance for Lynchburg now that they're ahead. Feel a little bit more comfortable as they see it settled in.
So for Clayball, that is goal number 5 on the season. And as I mentioned, 3 during the Odac tournament now. She had the first goal of the 2021 season. And knowing how these teams are defensively, who knows? She might have the last goal of the 2021 season. Emily Giannis in for Lynchburg. First time she's made an appearance today, the sophomore, doing her part. And now Lynchburg taking control just outside the shooting circle with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Could that be the goal that elevates this offense for Lynchburg, gives them the confidence needed to take a 2-goal advantage? We've got a little bit of time to find out. Clayball runs up to that loose ball, and then the whistle will give it to Washington and Lee. Grace Wise checks back in for Washington and Lee. Could be a big insert to the roster, to the field right now, if she can establish a run on offense, as she's done a lot here today. But Lynchburg's midfield with another steal. Dudley through the middle and just missed Clayball as it rolls to the other side and across the touchline. Under 1 minute to go in the first half. 1-0 lead for Lynchburg after Brittany Clayball scored on a rebound opportunity that was set up by Emily Dudley off of the 6th save of the day for Amol.
If you're Lynchburg here, Joe, I'd like to see be a little bit more aggressive as we close out the half. Ball up in your offensive third. Try and get all these players up there to make something happen.
Very early on, it was a lot of small, short passes, very efficient passes for the Hornets. Now they've gone kind of for the home run ball, and they'll have to do it here with 10 seconds to go. It does find its way through. Amol kicks it right back. Clayball steps into it off her foot, and that will do it for the first half of play. 30 minutes gone by, 30 minutes to go to determine our Odac champion in field hockey this season. We'll step aside for 5 minutes and be right back. You're watching the 2021 Odac Field Hockey Championship on LHSN.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic in Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
I became really attached to the town. Like, even when I come back into town after leaving for a few weeks, it's just like coming home. There's a kinship that you feel to the town and to the people here.
They'll smile and say hi as I'm walking through downtown, and they'll smile back and give me a nod.
Every WNL student in their 4 years here will have one, if not many, opportunities to interact with the community, get the community involved in different things going on campus, things going on off campus.
I think it's very important to get involved in the Lexington community.
We're bringing some snacks to the kids. It's an after-school program. It makes me feel a kid again, so it's been a great experience and getting to know all the different members of this community.
Tomorrow I'll be going to volunteer at the local elementary school. I tutor a girl there. I also work at Project Horizon, which is the local domestic violence shelter.
One thing that's really cool about WNL is the outing club.
I did the Appalachian Trail pre-orientation trip as a freshman, having never slept outside before. And now I've rafted both the upper and lower Gauley rivers, which are some of the best whitewater in America. We've done moonlight stand-up paddleboarding, top rope, and lead climbing in the New River Gorge in West Virginia.
The students come to this remarkable place that really nurtures the sense of community and learning that's really at the heart of a WNL education.
When I was looking at colleges, I didn't really pay attention to the things I should have paid attention to.
I know it's absolutely a stressful process, and in a lot of cases, you'll feel pressure to kind of get the perfect fit.
Be open to, the different places that you hear about and visit.
When you're on campus and you're walking around, can you see yourself here? And do you feel that, there's something kind of pulling you in the direction of a specific university?
Don't knock the small school in a small town before you come look at it.
Most schools offer just, a huge wealth of opportunities. They're full of great people. Find something where, you feel as though you can be comfortable and where you can take advantage of the opportunities that are available.
Ask yourself, will I fit in here? Will I have a good time? And most importantly, is this place gonna push me to grow?
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
If you want to know your customers, shop where they shop. Live where they live. And spend time with them as neighbors. With over 100 local offices, Virginia Farm Bureau agents are part of your community. If you want insurance from a company that knows you, get to know us.
Halftime here at the 2021 Odac Field Hockey Championships. The home team, the Hornets of University of Lynchburg, on top, 1-0 here on LHSN. We're back with D-Row, highlights, and the second half next.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
I became really attached to the town. Like, even when I come back into town after leaving for a few weeks, it's just like coming home. There's a kinship that you feel to the town and to the people here.
They'll smile and say hi as I'm walking through downtown, and they'll smile back and give me a nod.
Every WNL student in their 4 years here will have one, if not many, opportunities to interact with the community, get the community involved in different things going on campus, things going on off campus.
I think it's very important to get involved in the Lexington community.
We're bringing some snacks to the kids. It's an after-school program. It makes me feel a kid again, so it's been a great experience and getting to know all the different members of this community.
Tomorrow I'll be going to volunteer at the local elementary school. I tutor a girl there. I also work at Project Horizon, which is the local domestic violence shelter.
One thing that's really cool about WNL is the outing club.
I did the Appalachian Trail pre-orientation trip as a freshman, having never slept outside before. And now I've rafted both the upper and lower Gauley rivers, which are some of the best whitewater in America. We've done moonlight stand-up paddleboarding, top rope, and lead climbing in the New River Gorge in West Virginia.
The students come to this remarkable place that really nurtures the sense of community and learning that's really at the heart of a WNL education.
And we're back here at Schellenberger Field, the second half about to get underway, and we're going to see our main man D-Row here as I ask you a simple question. It's 1-0, but certainly feels like it's still pretty tight. Anybody in your mind have the advantage other than the obvious of Lynchburg having the 1-0 lead?
I think Lynchburg might have the advantage, and the reason being is that they have a senior-heavy roster. A lot of seniors on this team probably finishing out their careers. Some of them may be coming back next year, but all that experience that they've had over the years comes really into play into big games like this.
Well, speaking of the first half, let's look at it a little bit. And, of course, we told you about the goal. There were a couple of saves in there, too. Lynchburg certainly establishing their dominance in the second quarter. WNL, they got to find what they had in the first quarter, D-Row, because they had the control of possession.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Wills, that's what you want to be encouraging your team here at halftime. Yeah, we're down by 1, but we've had some great opportunities. We can play with this team. It's just a matter of finishing some of those chances that we had.
Good chances all the way around. 2 players going down as they fight and battle in the final game of the season. We know that luckily Stella Noels is coming back to play for the Generals. She's wearing a different number, as you see the lone goal scored so far from Brittany Clayball. So she's wearing number 30, those of you scoring at home. Number 2 is now number 30 because there was blood on the 2 jersey, and you can't play when there's blood on your uniform. As for Jackie Laro, she is still working to get herself back into play. She has been stretching. You see Noel's there. She has been stretching, trying to warm up. So we'll keep an eye on that as we are underway in the third quarter. 30 minutes to decide our 2020-2021 Odac Field Hockey Champion. Lynchburg trying to win their 3rd straight such title. The Generals looking for their first since 2017.
Clayball getting that goal in the first half, great off the bench for the Hornets, as she has been all year long. And that gives you a little bit of confidence, not only offensively, because you've seen the ball go in the net, but defensively too. You don't feel the pressure with every possession that comes your way that you have to get a stop. You have to get a stop. A lot of times that can take a toll on you after a while.
I still want to give some of the credit to that white glove. I'm a big Michael Jackson guy, so clay ball sporting the lefty white glove, the lone white glove, doing her best to make her mark in her junior season, getting more playing time this year than ever before. And now with the goal today, has 5 goals to show for it, over 10 points as well. Quick look at the first half numbers, by the way. Lynchburg outshot WNL 8-7. 7 of those 8 were on target. 6 of them, of course, were stopped by Sarah Amol. 4 shots on goal for the Generals, 3 saves for Laurel Nix, and 1 defensive save for Alex Rebman. 3 corners for the Hornets and 1 for Washington and Lee.
Both these keepers, fantastic there in the first half. Obviously, the goal from clay ball was due to Amel being on the ground, but she did make some great saves.
Yeah, I guess it is worth noting on that clay ball goal. You talked about it in the moment, but Emily Dudley getting a little bit of a kind of an assist in terms of getting the ball inside and with the shot that put Amol in that compromised position. Clay ball the beneficiary in the end, as that one finds its way in, but quickly dribbled away from harm by Abby Hamilton. Now stolen by Giannis. And a whistle will keep it with Lynchburg just outside the shooting circle. Nice move by Romero, good dribble. Looking to backhand it between the 2 defenders. Afforded the position off the whistle. Shockley, long hit, sent back in, and now out. Emma Strauss sporting the captain band on that left calf. 1 of 2 for Lynchburg, the other being Alex Rebman. 2 of the 10 in this senior class, trying to cap off a perfect season. The Hornets 8-0 this year. As the Odac wraps up its 3rd fall sport. Women's and men's soccer finished last weekend. Field hockey will finish today. And volleyball coming up at the end of the month.
Speaking of other sports across the Odac, Joe, just a round of applause for the Odac and all its member institutions working hard to make something happen for those players, especially the seniors that weren't able to get their traditional season there in the fall. A lot of logistics that go on behind the scenes to make something like this happen.
Absolutely, no doubt there is many thanks to be shared with Brad Bankston, J.J. Nekoloff, Isaiah Rogers, 3 that have some of the toughest jobs in the conference and what they've had to endure and what they've needed to do to help out every institution. You know, we think we have it tough sometimes because we have to cover and change on the fly for the teams at this school. They have to do it for each school. So certainly, as you said, round of applause, well-deserved for the conference and what they have helped us to do. And we're happy that we can be here. You mentioned earlier, D-Row, it feels weird for the players probably to be playing in this time of the season, especially for a championship. And I concur. It's odd to see green blooms on the trees as opposed to the nice fall foliage and wearing a parka for the Odac championship. So certainly a different atmosphere, but 2 teams that are used to being here. And right now, a still tight game in the Odac championship with under 10 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Generals with a nice counter, a maiden, a shot across, and the deflection that close, but feeling so far away for Freddie Tobiasen.
Generals right there, showing once again they are a good team. They're right here in this game, only down by 1, and all they need is a little better roll of the ball or a better positioning from the offense to be able to finish something like that.
Back in March, it was a 2-0 lead for Lynchburg at the half. The Generals responded with 2 goals in the second half to force overtime. Aaron Boatwright for Lynchburg finishing it off for the Hornets in overtime. So this is not a position for the Generals to feel discouraged about. Not to mention, they trailed 1-0 for almost the entire game on Friday. With about 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they tied it up with Roanoke after giving up an early goal against the Maroons. So certainly nothing to be put down about if you are the Generals. Lots of positives as they continue to answer Lynchburg's runs. Giannis.
And if you're the Hornets, Joe, you also don't want to be too relaxed. Friday, we saw that third quarter wasn't quite the best for the Hornets, and they allowed Shenandoah to get right back into the game.
Yeah, Lynchburg was leading 2-0, or excuse me, it was leading 1-0, and it was 2-2 at halftime. And Shenandoah scored the last 2 minutes of the third quarter to make it 4-2. And in the end, it was a penalty stroke in overtime from Jackie Laro. They got the job done and put Lynchburg in this position. Seven and a half to go. Romero dribbling through the defense, cutting back, puts the ball in the circle, and earns Lynchburg a penalty corner, their 4th of the game. And there is Jackie Laro warming up for the Hornets. Welcome sign for fans and teammates alike as she continues to try and see where her threshold is with that left hip pain.
It's definitely a tough spot to be in if you're Laro, Joe. Obviously a big game like this, championship game, and knowing what you normally can contribute on the year, but you also don't want to not be at your very best on the field and be a hindrance on the other side of it.
A quick whistle on the corner and a foul charge to WNL's Tess Munices. So now just 3 defensemen in front of Amol on this penalty corner. Could be
costly mistake there.
Could be crucial as that one gets to Brown. Brown dribbles in, backhands one low. Great job getting in front of that pass. Kaylee Fitzgerald stopping the momentum for a moment. The whistle will keep it with Lynchburg. But the Generals did a good job of not giving up a goal in a very tough position.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of what Lynchburg tried to do there. Quick elimination up top by Brown, but with the bigger number advantage on a situation like that, I think you got to get it off your stick quick and use your other teammates.
Certainly would make sense to try and get those 3 on their heels and not quite know where the ball is going. But at the same time, our view of it's a little bit different than when you're down there on the field and trying to make the perfect play. And if you're Lynchburg, you really would like to get a 2-goal lead, some insurance against a team that is capable, more than capable, of not just tying but taking the lead. Good battle in the midfield. The whistle will finish that battle as the hard hit stopped by Brown. Lays the block down. Still not able to keep it away from Munices. Munices, perfect pass. Shot coming, no. Nix quickly back to her feet and then one glances off of Green. Coach Will's adamant that that should be a penalty corner, but the official says it's just going to be a hit from the 16.
Great containment defense there from Green. Didn't try to be too aggressive to make the play, but simply just kept the offensive player right in front of her. She did get a little poke on it there, it looks like.
Back to live action.
Fundamental.
Yeah, Romero doing a great job of keeping that from rolling across the touchline. Sticks and players collide. All is well as Brown gets down, and eventually the whistle will keep it in the hands of Lynchburg. 4:25 remaining in the third quarter here at the 2020-2021 Odac Field Hockey Championship. Joe Hutzler and Daniel Rowe with you this afternoon. And we're going to have our first card given today. It will go against Abby Hamilton as she deliberately stepped on that ball. A green card, and now the Hornets will have a man advantage for 2 minutes. Taylor Green rushes to that free ball. Excellent defender is Taylor Green, and one thing we forgot to mention on Friday was her play in overtime. Of course, you go 7v7 in OT to help with the scoring opportunities, and Green was an integral part playing the entire overtime possession. She was in there on corners, had a couple shots as well, so not just a true defensive player is Taylor Green for Lynchburg.
Definitely a hard-nosed defender, great leader there on the backside for the Hornets.
WNL will take over on the whistle. Green with the steal. Good push ahead to Clayball, who's got some help in the middle, but keeping her from her intended spot was Grace McDonald. Coach Steele not happy with the no call. Actually, there was a call. It ended up being in favor of the Generals. And that long hit will roll back to Shockley. Dangerous moment here if she doesn't play it well, but 9 times out of 10 she will do just what she did there. Got about 15 seconds left on the penalty to Hamilton. And good news coming up to the substitution box is Jackie Laro as Amul kicks that one away, runs out onto it, and a penalty corner is assessed in favor of Lynchburg. Will Laro come in for the corner, or will she wait?
Amul gathering herself right there after coming out making an aggressive play to get the stop. Nice strong shot coming in.
You can see the reason for the penalty corner and the effort from 99 in blue as Emma Strauss starts the 5th penalty corner of the day for Lynchburg. Inserts top side to Brown, pushing it, looking for Strauss, hard off that stick, still inside the circle, but no more. As the penalty to Hamilton ends, she sprints back in. I think a maiden thought about giving it to her, but in the end still goes off the body of Redmond. And now we're back to even strength with 2 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Back in that corner, a hard pass from Brown. Just a bit too tough to handle there for Strauss. Would have been a good opportunity. Sometimes it's little things like that that can make a big difference in a game like this.
Jackie Laro has been reinserted into the game, folks, so good to know that both teams are now at full strength. Again, we told you Stella Noels is wearing number 30 now instead of number 2. She's the player that took a deflection to the face and is okay. Jackie Laro took a stick to the hip. For the moment, she's all right, but she's not 100%, certainly. She just swung the stick for the first time since coming back in, and I think she's going to come right back out. She's heading to the bench now. Yep, Dudley's going to sub in for Jackie Laro.
Yeah, sometimes just getting a taste of that game action after being out, you can warm up all you want, but as soon as you get out there, if you really feel that it's not going to be quite the same, that's a very selfless play there from Lero to say, hey, I'm not going to be my best. I need to pull myself here.
Had a midfield collision between Dudley and Hamilton. Lynchburg retains possession. I'm sure the men's lacrosse guys across the field will enjoy the contact. Emily Giannis back to Romero, got away from her, picked up by Tysinger. 25 seconds on the clock. Here inside the third quarter, it's Revman along the end line, wanting a penalty corner to finish the quarter. Will not get it. And the Generals will have 15 more minutes to see if they can tie this game. As we finish the third quarter, it's still Lynchburg in front, 1-0 on LHSN.
Cheer for the stumbles, the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Before we start the fourth, let's go back and take a look at some highlights. No goals to be had, but each goalie were busy. Darrell Nix making a save there as we get ready for the fourth quarter here on Schellenberger Field. Joe Hutzler and Daniel Rowe with you today in the final game of the Odac season. There will be a champion crowned at the end. Lynchburg looking for, as an institution, their fourth Odac championship since the restart of sports in January. Women's basketball, women's swimming. Last week it was men's soccer with a victory over Guilford. And here we are again on a sunny day in Central Virginia on the Lynchburg turf as the Hornets field hockey program seeks their 21st Odac championship, and W&L looking for their third and second under Coach Wills. There's a look at your men's soccer team, part of the team that lifted the trophy last week, celebrating at the Victory Bell Tower. D-Row, you were a part of one of those celebrations, and certainly something that's a little bit extra when you add in the tower piece to the celebration. Of course, the trophy and winning the game and seeing the clock hit zeros is great, but something about that tower, it's just a Lynchburg thing, man. It's just a tradition like nobody else has.
You got to love the traditions. It just makes it unique, and it makes it even more believable when you see other teams across campus doing it. A lot of times achieving goals is just about visualizing and seeing yourself achieving those. And so a lot of times just credit to the other teams across campus.
Quick look at the stats from the end of the third quarter. Lynchburg out shooting W&L by 1, 10-9, looking for their 11th here as Dudley sends one. It's crossed off the body of Giannis, deflecting in. What a crazy careen off of Emily Giannis. It'll be her fourth goal of the season. It makes it 2-0 Lynchburg to start the fourth quarter. Look at it again. Got her stick in front.
Great hand-eye coordination. Terrific cross there from Dudley, the senior, making her mark. That definitely has you feeling good here to start the fourth.
So for Dudley, on Friday, she had the deflection that put Lynchburg back in the game against Shenandoah. made it 4-4. Today, she's got the insert that was deflected by Emily Giannis, playing in her 9th game of the season and scoring for the 4th time in her sophomore campaign. And excellent, as you mentioned, excellent hand-eye to get that stick in front of her chest and using that to deflect in the goal. Here's Dudley again. Through the middle, has help. It's Clayball. Clayball backhand to the center. Giannis breaks inside, looking to get across to Dudley, and it's eventually swept away by Hamilton.
Lynchburg offense starting to feel a little better too.
Now you might even be able to play a little bit looser if you are Lynchburg because you have that 2-goal insurance. So more of an aggressive pace from the Hornets on offense as they want to really put this one away early if they can.
No doubt one more goal from Lynchburg would be very challenging for the Generals to overcome here. If you're W&L, you just want to settle in, take a breath, get the stop, and slowly transition up here to offense.
Good pass forward, looking for Wise. Green makes the touch first. Now it's Wise with possession. And the whistle will keep it with the Generals. Here's a little bit of what you were talking about, D-Row. An opportunity for the Generals. Great chance out front. Shot, score off the board. Grace Maiden.
Terrific offense there from the Generals, and they actually put into play what I was just about to talk about. Would love to see Wise and Maiden get themselves a little more involved offensively. And we see Wise drawing the foul and Maiden getting the finish there on the latter end of the play, keeping the Generals alive.
12th goal of the season for Grace Maiden, a big one, as the lead has been cut to 1 with lots of time remaining in this 4th quarter, a little over 12 minutes to go. Emma Strauss just inside, actually just outside the circle. So it becomes a free hit. A Maiden trying her best. Romero with the clean steal. Romero cutting back. She's in the circle. She's looking for a deflection off a foot, and she'll get it as Lynchburg heads over for another corner, their 6th of the game, and a chance to respond to the Generals' most recent tally.
Hornets, I'm sure, will start to take their time as they get opportunities like this to settle in offensively, kill a little bit of clock as you're starting to get your play set up on this set piece.
1 goal scored today off of a corner as this one rolls out to Taylor Green. Long shot, looking for a deflection. It stands in the middle and off the foot of Hamilton for another corner. Emily Dudley looking to the sidelines for the corner formation given to her by Jenny Relaford in her 6th season as an assistant coach with the program.
I'd like to see Lynchburg try and get the ball up high, but then back towards the end line.
How about that? Dudley with the ripper from deep. It was deflected in. Giannis was there, so was Japezi. The celebration is with 24 in black. Emily Giannis, at the moment, we believe, has her 2nd of the day, giving Lynchburg another 2-goal advantage. Watch it again. Giannis was definitely the closest to it. She will get credit for it. The unlikeliest of heroes for Lynchburg. When you look down the stat sheet, Giannis's name doesn't come up enough. Well, it certainly will after today.
little bit more insurance for Lynchburg, and definitely a deflating play if you're on the other side for W&L.
Now the Generals have to remember it wasn't that long ago when they had a really clean push like they do right here that finished with a goal to make it a 1-goal deficit. Can they do it one more time? It's Wise in front. It is a whistle that keeps it with Lynchburg on the defensive side.
A little 2-on-2 opportunity there for Washington and Lee. Very dangerous chance.
Good lift and drive from Tobiasen. Brown trying to keep that ball from her feet. Doesn't want to give the Generals a corner. That certainly has been a negative on the sheet for Washington and Lee. Not enough set pieces, just one so far in this game. When you look at that compared to Lynchburg, who has 7, that certainly plays a key role in your success on offense.
For sure, and I think part of that is just credit to the Lynchburg defense playing very fundamental, staying nice and low with their sticks, keep the ball off their feet.
Under 10 minutes remaining. The time becoming an issue for the Generals now as they try to end this losing streak to Lynchburg on Schellenberger Field that goes back to the year 2000. 14 trips to Lynchburg and 14 losses. They have fared better at home, as they usually do, with that AstroTurf that is so much quicker than the grassy turf here at Schellenberger Field. Revman, stick colliding with Wise as the Generals push once more. It's a two-headed monster with Wise and a Maiden. Last time it was good for a goal. This time it's a kick by Nix, who keeps it away from harm.
Wise with some good speed coming from the top side. Almost made something happen there.
Whistle gives it to the Generals. Rolling back is Munisis. Good pass, keeping it in play and chipping it inside off of a Hornet defender. That was Dudley who got back to play defense on the Peyton Tysinger insert. Shots are even at 12 as the Generals pick up their pace on offense. Just looking for anything that might bounce their way now. Down by 2 with 7:10 to go. This will roll back to the 16.
Lynchburg defense doing a great job of communicating around. You can see it all the way from Richmond with them pointing around, marking up, making sure everybody knows who's got who.
A lift that's handled by Mamarella. Hit intended for Wise. Romero takes it away. Whistle keeps it with Washington and Lee. Aaron Boatwright, one-on-one. Dribbles around Gatrell. Boatwright, the hero back in March against the Generals. Aggressively pushing ahead. Clay ball there too. It's Boatwright in the corner. And delayed whistle eventually blown to keep it with the Hornets. as time is running out for the Generals. Each team with 2 timeouts if they choose to use them. Perhaps Coach Wills will use one if the Generals can put it back deep in their offensive third, but now they've got to play defense again. Good run here by Wise, building for the Generals. She dribbles into Alexis Brown, afforded the positioning. Here is that next moment for the Generals.
Official's going to want her to start that ball up higher.
Yeah, but precious time ticking away, though, in that moment. Good dribble. Munises gets it inside. They want to glance it off a foot. They do. It goes off of Redmond, and it is penalty corner number 2 for Washington and Lee. .450 to go. Huge moment of the game for both teams. The Generals, they need one to feel the confidence that they have to have for a comeback. The Hornets wanting a stop, giving them the confidence they can hold on. It's Munises going up top, and it's swatted away by Nix. She knew it was coming. It's the same play they used on Friday night for the win. This time it was a save. The Generals still have it inside the circle, but no more.
Big time save there from Nix, the senior, showing off that experience.
She hasn't had to do everything today, but she has 5 crucial saves. Only one getting past her on a one-on-one opportunity from Grayson Maiden. The only other time it got past her, Alex Redmond was there for a defensive save. Under 4 minutes remaining. Generals need possession. They need another set piece. Good steal by Wise, but a whistle will bring it back. So close.
Risky play there from Green, just trying to get the ball up in the body to get the call.
Maggie Japese breaks away. The Hornets have the numbers 4-on-3. Poking at it is Berman. Japese inside. Amol is out of her net. And Hamilton calmly clears it. And the whistle will keep it with the Generals. 3 minutes remaining. Strauss, nice cut back inside. As Lynchburg can feel the scales continuing to tip their way. Brown, backhand, floater. Whistle will bring it back to a defensive hits section for the Generals. Lynchburg seeking their 3rd 3-straight championship of their career, of their program's history, I should say. It has been an unorthodox year and schedule for everyone, but a championship feeling doesn't change regardless of when it is played and when it is earned. That's a foul on Shockley. Under 2 minutes left. And he called a corner. Yeah, clock did not stop on the whistle. It should say 150 or 151 based on when that whistle blew. It's down to 144. And they are not going to change it, so it's 144. Third penalty corner of the day for the Generals. This by far the biggest. Well, now the officials will concur. And they are going to change this clock situation. When I looked up, it said 150, so it should be in that area.
A few more seconds, and if you're WNL, you want as many seconds as you can get, being down by 2 here.
And it goes back to 151, as you can see in the top left of your screen. So 7 precious seconds added to Coach Will's and her team's potential fortune here. Out to Munises, then bounces away from Fitzgerald. Regathers, whiffs on a chance between the legs of Redmond, but a whistle that gives it back to Lynchburg. Poorly executed corner by the Generals late in this one.
That's a tough outcome there for the Generals.
And now,
I will say I am a little surprised, Joe, that Coach Wills hasn't called a timeout to at least maybe see if there's any type of adjustments or maybe just a quick breather for her team so they can fly around this last minute and a half.
Yeah, neither team using any of their timeouts that are afforded to them. So a quick game here today when it comes to start and finish time. And right now, the Hornets are gearing up for a celebration at the finish time. Taylor Green calmly takes control. Wise looking for the jab. Off her foot, under 30 seconds left. Emily Giannis starting this run. Emily Dudley denied by Amol as the feeling is sinking in Lynchburg's 33rd Odac title appearance. They're going to win it for the 21st time. The Hive has spoken, and the University of Lynchburg are your 2020-2021 Odac Field Hockey Champions.
What a moment here for the Hornets. And Joe, I think it just speaks to the resilience of this program, not only throughout the season, but definitely in this game. It was neck and neck there early. Lynchburg just staying with the game plan, finally getting one in the back of the net, staying patient through that process. Lost a leader during that game in Laro's injury and staying resilient through that. And then WNL, they showed life all throughout this game. They definitely weren't out of it by any stretch at any point. Got a goal there to make it just a little bit closer, but Lynchburg once again showing that resilience, putting one more in the net just to put the Generals away and feel like they had that one under control at that point.
For Lynchburg, it was goals from Brittany Clayball and Emily Giannis. The Generals got a goal from Grace Amaden, but in the end, this place continues to be a thorn in the side for Washington and Lee as Lynchburg wins it 3-1, their third straight Odac Field Hockey Championship. We will pause and be right back with the championship ceremony led by our Master of Ceremonies today, Mr. Mark Weaver, here on LHSN. All right, it seems like we are good to go on tournament teams, and the trophy is out there with Mr. Rogers. So we're going to send it down to our PA announcer today, Mark Weaver, for the Odac Championship Trophy presentation here on LHSN. Well, perhaps not yet. Thought he was ready. Still shuffling some papers, trying to get fully in order here. As University of Lynchburg celebrates their 4th Odac championship since restarting athletics on January 17th. Their 3rd championship from a female sport, women's basketball, women's swimming, and field hockey today. Men's soccer a week ago, as they continue to be a fall sport dominant institution for sure. Volleyball looking to add to that in just a few weeks. All right, now Mr. Mark Weaver is ready. We'll send it down to him for the trophy presentation.
All tournament team members in attendance should come forward and be recognized. From Roanoke College, Emily Wooten and Alexis Wright. From Shenandoah University, Kelsey Jones and Isabella Mirande. From runner-up Washington and Lee University, Grace Amadin. Sarah Amel. And Tess Munises. And from your Odac champion, University of Lynchburg, Alexis Brown. Brittany Clayball. Emily Dudley, and Casa Romero. Let's have another round of applause for these fine student athletes, your 2021 All Odac Tournament team.
That's cute.
First off, what a great championship and a great tournament. The Old Dominion Athletic Conference congratulates Washington and Lee University for a great season. The Generals' record stands at 8-2 following their 5th appearance in the Odac title game. Let's give a round of applause for the Washington and Lee University Generals. And now for the presentation of the 2021 Odac Championship Trophy. At this time, we ask the Lynchburg captains or other team representatives to step forward and receive the championship trophy from Isaiah Rogers. The Lynchburg Hornets complete the conference season with a 9-0 overall record after capturing their 21st league title. Here they are, your 2021 Odac champions, University of Lynchburg Hornets. Fans, the University of Lynchburg and Old Dominion Athletic Conference appreciate your support of this year's Odac tournament and of Division III athletics. Thank you again, and best wishes for a safe trip home.
What a moment to behold here on Schellenberger Field. Congratulations are in order to the University of Lynchburg and their 21st Odac Field Hockey Championship. We'll leave you with highlights of this one as we wrap up another season on LHSN. Thank you so much, D-Row, for tuning in, buddy. Can't wait to see you again sometime soon.
Pleasure to be a part of it. Go Hornets.
Thank you to everyone who watched and supports this channel. We look forward to more excellent broadcasts coming your way throughout the rest of the season. But for today, we rest our laurels and celebrate a championship. For everyone at LHSN, I'm Joe Hutzler, logging off and reminding you it's a great day to be a Hornets, and we are one nation.